Hello, everyone. I'm Cheldin Rumor, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. It is always a pleasure to hang out with my dear friend. I cannot wait to dive on in to this conversation. But before that, we need for him to reintroduce himself, his first and last name, and all he's up to.
Cheldin, I'm Louis Bezich, men's health advocate, contributing writer to phillyvoice.com, and the author of Saving Men from Themselves, 20 Proven Tactics with a New Approach to Healthy Living for Men Over 50. How are you?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I am doing so much better now that I'm talking to you. What are we chatting about today?
Today, Cheldin, we're going to talk about a very hot topic in this country today, and that is longevity.
Hmm.
With an aging population, baby boomers and Generation X, a lot of talk about longevity. It's like the college student who realizes, oh, I've got this term paper done at the end of the
Sure,
semester. It's
sure.
time to go. But interestingly enough, even millennials and Gen Z now, the surveys and polls are showing that they're interested in their health and well-being. So our aspirations are great. The
Sure.
problem, of course, is that our actions speak otherwise.
Hmm.
Small percentages of the American population, men and women, really meet, the standards for a healthy lifestyle. That's not only diet and exercise, but what we eat and the fact that we shouldn't smoke, we should wear our seatbelts, things like that. So small percentages do that. Small
Sure.
percentages meet the federal activity guidelines. So we need to do something more. But another troubling statistic is that the polls show that 75% of people polled were relying on technology to kind of give them that quality of life
Hmm.
that they aspire to do. So
Wow.
again, the aspirations are good.
Yeah.
We've got to, really encourage people to try the right thing. Technology is great and,
Sure.
new pharmaceuticals are great. And let's hope that they continue
Sure.
to make our lives more healthy and meaningful.
Yeah.
At the same time, our own behaviors. I mean, Harvard, I'll leave you with this one
No, of
fact.
course.
Harvard tells us that, 25% of our health really is dictated in many ways by our genetics, right?
Hmm.
75% is within our control. How we lead our lives has a
Hmm.
huge and one of the most powerful impacts on our life.
No, I think that that is so important, especially when people are trying to navigate this idea of longevity, this
Yeah.
idea of not only living longer, but living well. We were talking about that before we hit record about, yes, are we as a society we are living longer, but are we living well? And what are the tools that we can use, right? Genetics can only get us so far, right? There's a larger percentage on the other side of genetics that really affects the way we live and how long we live and how we live in our world. And we've always talked about countless times lifestyle, right? What does it mean to surround yourself with people that will motivate you, people that you motivate by your behavior? What you consume is part of it, right? And how much of it, but that also equals technology
Yeah.
as part of what it is that we're consuming. It's not just about food, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's clearly a puzzle, right? With
yeah,
various pieces.
yeah.
We know from the literature and we know intuitively that physical activity is a key piece to it. We know that diet is a key piece to it. But then, you know, we also know that people they want to really live a healthy lifestyle, but they can't find a way to do it. And motivation, as we've talked about all the time, you just mentioned, is really critical. So that's why I always go back to the social sciences and those motivating factors. Because
Yeah.
if you want to not only start but sustain a healthy lifestyle, you need purpose, you need a reason to do that. And that's where we look at our own relationships, which we've said
Mm,
a million times. But
yeah.
that's the point here. In this whole discussion of longevity, it really comes down to, in many ways, to using those emotional relationships, that emotional force that we have within us to really give us the motivation to, lead that healthy lifestyle, to get to the gym or get out and
Yeah.
walk around the block or whatever it is and sustain a
Sure.
healthy diet. So
Sure.
that's the advice that I always lean to, and we've talked
Yeah.
about many times, but I think it takes on new meaning when we talk about longevity.
Yes, yes. And I think that having, at least for me, I mean, those of you that have followed us in this conversation for years now,
Yeah.
I'm now 48 years old. I'll be 49 in September. I'm creeping on that over 40, Lewis. I'm creeping on that over 40. It's been a minute to be able to get there. I'm sorry, I'm creeping on that over 50. I'm getting there. I'm getting there in that space. And I think that we prioritize a number of different things. You know, I'm in that sandwich generation, right? I have two older parents. I have two children, not young anymore, well, 8 and 15. I'm
Right.
running around. I'm a business owner. I tend to prioritize everything else in my life aside from prioritizing my health, right? Aside from, I know that I want to live long. I know that, again, having an 8-year old, that I have a lot of living left to do, right? To show up for those big milestones. But it's really about taking those necessary action steps. And I know you've always in the past provided really great advice on how to be able to do that. Would just love for you to reiterate, as I'm looking for a long and healthy life, what are some action steps that I can take into play in this moment as a busy individual? I know that the people that are listening, that the people that are watching are like, I try, I'm doing, I want to be. I mean, I think that they know that they want to live well. I think that they understand that they want to live a healthier life. But is there any particular advice that you can provide in this moment as we
Sure.
continue to have these conversations about best ways to do that?
Well, I think it's important to acknowledge right up front that it's not easy.
Yeah.
Right? Let's
Yeah,
say the obvious here because it's
for
important.
sure.
It's not easy.
For
That's
sure.
why we've got to find the most powerful tools to motivate us.
Yes.
Why we go to the our emotional relationships and such. But the other thing is to not only know that it's recognize that it's hard, but look at the factors in your life that make it hard. It's
Yeah.
our time, it's our other commitments and such. And then take a step back and think about again those priorities.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you are there when that 8-year-old child grows up and graduates from college. You want to be there for graduation. You want to be there for her wedding. You want to be there for all those big moments in her life.
Sure.
And no matter how many hours you want to put in at the job, which you do all the time, and running the house and running the business,
All of it.
the thing that's fundamental to all of that is your health.
It's my health.
Without your health, nothing else
Okay.
happens. And I
Nothing.
think the place to start for everybody is to recognize that. Recognize that your health underrides everything, and that if you want to achieve those social goals, the weddings, the
Yeah.
graduations, the milestone events, the travel, whatever it might be, you need to be healthy to do it. That's the common denominator for
Common
everything
denominator.
that we do. So if you
Ah,
can kind of start there and
yeah.
remind yourself, that's what, when the alarm clock goes off, instead of just shutting it off and rolling over, that's what it's all about. It's as I've told my men over the years, my 50 plus guys,
Yeah.
what they call the end game.
Yeah.
Behavior is a means to an end. It's
Yeah.
that end game that drives motivation. And again, I think is so important in that longevity conversation.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I know that you're doing a series on longevity for Philly Voice. And so, what can we look forward to within this series? We're excited. We follow you not only on the platforms that are available, but also all of the messages and all of the blogs that you share on Philly Voice. So, and all the articles. What can we look forward to in that series?
Well, I think a lot of stuff that we've just talked about is in there, but one of the things that is in my final installment is that there's a lot of good news out there
Mm,
in the science, right? Everything I do is all evidence-based. I find it in the literature and I sort of assemble it together. And
mm,
those are things like, number one, it's never too late.
mm.
The science tells us that it's, whether you're 60s, 70s, even the 80s, right? It's never too late to start an exercise program. Your muscles will react and react positively.
I love
So, and number one, a positive attitude is so incredibly important. You can deter and delay the
mm.
aging process with a healthy attitude. Again, that's not me, that's the science telling us that.
Yeah.
So, your attitude, your approach, your mindset is critically important. So that's what's to come in the
I
future.
love it. I love it. Your mindset for sure. It's never too late. It's always on time to be able to talk to my dear friend Lewis. I want to make sure people get in touch with you, not only to follow all the things that you've got going on, but also to make sure that they're reading that series on longevity in Philly Voice. We're so excited about all that you're sharing, especially the new book. So if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to follow Fan and like you, where do they find that information?
On social media, it's at Louis Bezich. And of course, you can go to my website, louisbezich.com, and see what's going on in my world of healthy behavior.
I love it. I love it. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. He is a friend of This Is It Network, and we're so grateful that he's part of our community. From all of us here at This Is It TV, I'm Cheldin Barlett Rumor, and we will see you soon. Take care.